Stacey Abrams represents that, does she not? Overeducated. I'm a PhD. Stacey Abrams, Spelman, Yale, University of Texas. Isn't that true? They massively in debt. Black women got the most debt, the most school debt, the most consumer debt. Isn't that true? Let's look at another one. Never married. Black women are the least married group of women in the country. That's a fact. Not my opinion. Not what I believe. I didn't get this from the Red Pill Reddit. This ain't no incel talking point. No, man, it's a fact. Black women are the least married women in the country. Fact. The Democrat Party is the party of never married black women. The Democrat Party is the party of the baby mama. The Democrat Party is the party of the spinster. It's a fact. And last but not least, my brothers, Stacey Abrams is emblematic of how so many, not all, but a whole lot of them have absolutely no respect for black men. None. None. She indeed is the standard bearer and apostle of today's sassy, modern black woman. Now, if you disagree with that, you need to come on up here and explain why you disagree. I just laid out my reasons. I laid out my points. I open it up to anybody that wants to take the link. There's a link right there. The link is right there. You're welcome. You're all welcome. If you disagree with what I said, you need to come on up here and explain to me. I'm telling you right here, right now, that Stacey Abrams is the standard bearer and apostle of the sassy, modern black woman. And that's the reason why the black women have supported her to the tune of damn near 95%. Now, if you disagree with that, you come on up here and explain why. She accurately reflects today's sassy, modern black woman. Don't you agree? She plays so beautifully. Don't you agree? Isn't that true? Isn't that true? And then the one brother called up here, and I'm glad he mentioned it. The one brother called up here and said, well, they shouldn't be talking about black men. They shouldn't be talking about white women. Why? Why should they be talking about white women? White women don't relate to that shit. White women don't relate to being a big Shirley, bro. White women don't relate to being overly educated. White women don't relate to being massively in debt. White women don't relate to being never married. White women got respect for their men. When Donald Trump said you can grab them by the poom poom, white women went and voted for him over Hillary. Okay? White women can and will stand by their man. God damn it, it was a white woman that said it. It was a white woman that sang the song. Stand by your man. Black women, the only woman out here talking about I don't need no man. Fuck out of here, man. Stacey Abrams is the standard bearer and apostle of the sassy modern black woman. That is a fact. And I got 5 distinct points that I can put up on the board to prove it. She is the image of the black woman today. That's a fact. The only thing she's missing is a couple baby daddies. That's the only thing she's missing. Real talk. The only thing she's missing is a couple baby daddies. And I can't even be mad at black women for supporting Stacey because they should vote their own interests. I can't be mad at that. I got a problem with the black men who do it. I got a problem with the black men who do it. I have no problem with black women voting their interests. They're supposed to vote their interests. They're Americans too. Black women have every right to vote their interests. I got no problem with that. I got a problem with black men going along with that shit. And they get up here waffling and flopping all over the fainting couch, flopping all over the joint. It's embarrassment.
that babe Ingram right there, man. And when it all fall down, lay forward. Hard to see forward, no longer ignore it. Some folks talk value about the statue, but when our lives seem to have more value, we come in peace just to get some peace. A cry for justice pouring out in the streets. Should strike a nerve when you see this reality. Through this BS, yo, we just want humanity. From a code of mama, don't raise no fools. Now I be doggone it, time to change the rules. Cause the only way we gon' deal with these problems is to come up for those held down on bottom. Touchy is a subject that need to be touched, but when we speak up, they say we doing too much. And if you say that you don't get what this about, we ask to throw a hand up, not a handout. So let's talk about it. 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 Give us a book, so we had the book. Solo Harriet systems of hate that us throw the book now. We just been saying it's not a good look. Started to catch it on tape, what's live on the book. So what's finna happen now? It's all on the table. Tired of the lies and we tired of the labels. Before we get a chance, we always under aim. They say we play the card, but this not a game. This is the breaking of invisible chains. You dig our fame, but you won't dig the pain. Through all the mess, yo, it's time to invest. Access alone will alleviate stress. Major concern is these babies can't learn. When given a turn, then we all can earn. At the tipping point, it's time for the turn. This ain't revenge, just justice we yearn. So let's talk about it. 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 Midwest living make it hard to live. How you remain positive through the negative. The great migration, subliminal frustration. It's like we moved up north to a new plantation. Some do their best just to kill our dreams. Like no white tees, caps and sagging jeans. Why don't you go and just say what you mean? No place for us, so we can't have a scene. We need black spots, like we need black props.
Leading the way in family, finance.
Talk about it.
Today, we champion the black men who've taken the reins of their lives, leading the way in family, finance, and purpose. Their own unique F.F.P. We're here to uplift and to highlight the black men whose personal brands shine, illuminating the best within our community. The essence of our community lies in the power of dependability, of being useful, and consistently exuding confidence, intelligence, and assertiveness. That's the man we're here to celebrate. A man who truly embodies a meaningful, accountable nature. A true man. But our praise doesn't stop there. We raise our hats to the black women whose public and private actions beautifully mirror the strength and grace of our black men. Together, they weave the vibrant fabric of our community. Now let's celebrate the mantra that binds us. Dare to be bold, not silent. That's our rallying cry here at the Real Bravado Network. We're all about character, personal growth, and fostering a culture of accountability, all framed by this bold mantra. Our name, Real Bravado, represents our spirit, the essence of being truly bold. And that's our mission for every live stream, every conversation we have. So, let's dive into this journey together. And remember, we're here to be real, to be bold. Let's start this conversation, folks. Welcome, everyone, to our exciting live stream here on RBN, your trusted Real Bravado Network. This is your moment, your space. This is Have the Conversation. And every black man, start your day with 3 words. I'm a king.
I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king and I will never knew. Plotting for my fall, you getting hanged for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can, yo. Can't even get close, I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold, I don't do no hoes, I've got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, I told you guys before. Ready for the war, to get me way much more. Gather all this spoils, add them to my kingdom. Shout out to my fans for pledging your allegiance. You get a reward, the best flow you've ever heard. I don't be mixing with birds, I'm a lion on the surge. Always pushing to the edge, facing arrows, never scared. For my greatness I'm a servant, only under myself. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody,
all right,
I'm busy
everyone.
doing my thing. Mess with
Welcome.
me and you
Welcome.
could get forgotten, just
We
let
are
it sing.
back.
I don't play, I just win
are
every day, I get it
back.
in. I'm a king
We are the Real
cause I
Bravado
do what
Network,
I want
everybody. Your
and
trusted
what I need.
RBN.
I don't need you
We
to
are a
nobody,
black
I'm
issues
busy
driven
doing my
channel,
thing. Mess with me
and
you could get
especially the
forgotten,
issues that
just
keep
let
black
it
folk
sing.
away from
I
being
don't
with
play,
one
I
another.
just win every day, I get
And my name is
it in.
TJ, and I'm your facilitator on this journey. I do got a special guest with me today that's going to help me out today. We're here today. This is your afternoon coffee break, and I certainly am glad that my sister is in the chat. I'm talking about Michon. Listen, if you guys go to the description of this channel, you're going to see a link to Michon's channel. Michon actually covered the very topic that I'm going to cover today. Michon's analysis of what was absolutely remarkable. It's almost embarrassing for me to do an analysis after hers, but I linked her analysis of what we're going to talk about today because Michon was able to talk to that woman or about that woman in a way that I'm just not going to do it right now. So if after we get done with this, if you haven't seen Michon's breakdown of what happened on the Breakfast Club, I promise you, you're going to want to go see it. You're going to want to go see it. Look, some of us out here, some of us are out here are all right as far as content creators. And then there's people like Michon. They're on a whole nother level, and especially with their analysis. Me, I don't have any eloquent things to say about stuff. I just kind of shoot and hit it with a sledgehammer. And I kind of get accused of that in my real life. People getting mad at me because of the way I talk. I just got this whole thing yesterday about my delivery and how I say things. And this, man, get the fuck out of here. I say it how I say it. And I just kind of got to deal with it. And it's kind of funny. Only black men, well, it seems to me, mostly black men get always labeled with their damn tone. Your tone, but let Billy Bob or somebody else say the exact same shit, maybe a little bit worse than we're hearing crickets out here. Oh, before we get started, please, everyone, do us a huge favor, and me in particular.
Acknowledge me.
Absolutely. Acknowledge us here on the Real Bravado Network. Hit the like button, hit the chat button, because right now, I guess I really need to.
Let me talk to you.
Before we get into the analysis, let me talk to you for a minute. For those of you who were around right at the beginning of the start of the stream, and if you need to watch it later, the first 5 minutes of the stream, you saw me on, and I was listening to Obsidian. I have not made any secret about the fact that on many occasions, I absolutely do disagree with Obsidian's take on some things. I've actually been downright bullish about some of the things that he's actually done. And I played him because to prove a point. Despite that, I'm downright bullish on some of his takes and his perspectives, or the things that he's done that I found egregious, or even contradictory to his own message. I played it because that 5-minute clip, Obsidian was absolutely right. And I needed to demonstrate, because what we're going to talk about today, what we're going to see today, what I need to demonstrate is the fact that as Black folk, too many times we will go against our own best interests simply because we dislike somebody. We go against our own best interest based on how we feel about something. And we will throw out the baby with the bathwater because somebody made me feel a certain kind of way, but yet their message is exactly in line with our best interest. Let me give you something that really hits close to home for me. I'm from a small town called Racine, Wisconsin. Racine, Wisconsin has about 80,000 people that reside in Racine. Racine. A couple years ago, a Black man by the name of Melvin Hargrove, and I'm giving his name because he's a public figure. Melvin Hargrove comes from a very large Black family in Racine, a large working class Black family. Most of the people in his family are entrepreneurs and stuff like that. A lot of them are in they own like barbershops, beauty salons, candy stores, car washes, resale furniture shops, and his family is huge. His family is so large that they have their own family church. Melvin Hargrove is the minister of that church. They're so large that the church has about 3 different choirs. It is a large family. Melvin Hargrove is also a veteran who served in the first Iraq War. He is a military vet. He's a military vet. He's a Baptist minister. He comes from a large family. He's a married man. And a few years ago, he ran for mayor. With running for in political office, Melvin Hargrove checks all of the boxes. Religious, he's a minister. He's married, family. He's conservative. And he's a military vet. This man checks all of the boxes. The vast majority of Black people in that town did not vote for Melvin Hargrove because the overarching narrative about him was he's too arrogant. Not that he wouldn't do a good job, not the fact that he didn't serve years on the school board, not the fact that he didn't that his church and his family serves the community, not the fact that most of us in the town is tied to his family. Not the fact that he's a staple, or when things go wrong, or when there needs to be an advocate, he's out there out front. Not to mention that every week at his church, he holds a meeting for men, for young men, and not just young men, but black men in the community, and they talk about how to improve the conditions of black men and the black family in the community, and is well represented. That meeting is well represented. Not to mention that he's in the ear of the county executive and on his advisory team about how to help and improve the conditions of blacks in that town. And my whole town was a dumpster fire of poor, broke, busted, drug dealing, and baby mamas. That's it. He's in there, and this man checked all the boxes for white conservative, and he should have checked all the boxes for blacks. But blacks would not go out and vote for this man because they felt he was too arrogant. Because he's eloquent in his speaking. We vote and do shit against our own best interest because we feel something about somebody. I disagree with Obsidian on a lot of shit, even sometimes in even when I think he's being in direct conflict to his own message. But when he says something that is right, I set that aside and walk with what's right. I don't have to be in love with somebody. Hold up, everybody, real quick.
Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the
All right, y'all, we got to shout them out. They're coming in hot and heavy for your boy. Let me tell y'all something. Hold on, let me just get to them. $5. Hold on a second. It's the $5. Yeah, with the $5 super sticker, 3D radio. Thank you, brother. He was here last week. I think this is going to be another hot one. Thank you. Love watching this brother grow. Hit the like button, please do, and support this brother. Please do. Please do. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. All right, my day one, Mr. Coon Lee. Gotta hit you. All right, there we go. Thank you, brother, for the $5 super sticker. And of course, my lovely lady, Miss Almond Eyes. Here we go. All right, yeah, $5 for the 5,000. Yes, we started our goal when we started doing this Monday through Thursday stream at the beginning of the month was to hit 5,000 subscribers, and we hit the 5,000 subscribers yesterday. Let me tell you something. I didn't even know I hit it until one of my YouTube buddies, what's her name? My sexy is strong texted me, and I woke up to a text from her saying, "Congratulations on your 5K." And because when I went to bed, I was about 8 or 9 away. So when I woke up, I had cleared the 5,000K threshold. So I appreciate that. So that's how I actually didn't find out on my own. One of the other YouTubers informed me of it. Oh, once again, 3D Radio, thank you for the $20. Let's get you more support. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. And of course, I'm so glad that this sister,
as a woman, specifically a black woman,
just supported us with the $20 super sticker. Thank you, Messy Michon. And don't forget, y'all, I'm about to start on this journey with the Breakfast Club. Go check out Messy Michon's analysis of what happened on the Breakfast Club. It was a work of art right there, okay? And Mr. Told You, thank you, brother. Oh, I gotta get you. I gotta give it to you. Where is it at? Oh, so you heard about me from both Messy Michon and El Guapo. That's my dude, LG. Thank you, brother, for stopping by and showing me some support. Hopefully, I can do right by you and keep you coming back. I appreciate it. Now, listen. Today's stream is called Selective Black Outrage. The Breakfast Club, my God. if this, what we're about to watch, is not a social experiment on black nigga fuckery, I don't know what is. We don't listen. We don't understand. And our first reaction to anything that has to do with accountability or responsibility, we want to go ahead and get into complete and utter fight mode. And let me be perfectly honest with you. I am not a huge Larry Elder fan. I think Larry Elder is a little tunnel vision when it comes to the Republican Party. And because Larry Elder is a former talk show host, he's a former he's a political activist. Larry Elder also ran for governor in the state of California. So he's been he has I don't know if he still has a radio show, but he had a radio show for years, and he got invited, and he's now running for president of the United States. And so I'm telling you right now, I'm not in line a lot with Larry Elder. But that don't mean that he might not be what's in my best interest. And we don't have to be 100% in lockstock to vote for somebody. Do you think all of them white folk were 100% in lockstock with what Donald Trump was doing? Absolutely not. But they voted in their best interest, okay? So 30 minutes to react. We're going to deal with this today, tomorrow, and Wednesday with this Larry Elder stuff with the Breakfast Club. Let's get to it. And I got a guest with me who's going to provide some commentary as well. But let's get to it. Let's go ahead and start my countdown clock. Here we go. 30 minutes of reaction time. Here we go.
Everybody, it's DJ NV, Charlemagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We have Teslin Figueroa with us, and we got a special guest in the building. 2024 Republican presidential candidate, Larry Elder. Welcome, brother.
Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
He does more than that, though. I mean, he was a radio host.
Radio host for 40 years.
Author, TV host.
Author,
New York Times bestselling list. Got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Corner of Hollywood and Vine, Southeast corner, just saying.
Okay.
I didn't know you had a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, man.
Yeah, about a handful of radio guys do, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, I think it's you, Elvis Duran,
Angie
Howard
Martinez.
Stern,
Yeah.
Big Boy. Oh, Angie
Martinez.
Martinez.
A guy named Arthur Godfrey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into it. Why are you running for president?
Well, I'm running as an America First mega guy, and we have an America First mega guy running, obviously. So the question is, what do you bring to the table?
You said MAGA.
MAGA.
Okay.
And the answer is, I bring a lot of issues to the table that I feel our side is not talking enough about, if at all. For example, the number one social problem in America, by far, is the epidemic not of COVID, but of fatherlessness. 70% of black kids today enter the world without a father in the home, married to the mother, up from 25% back in 1965. Now 25% of white kids enter the world today without a father in the home, married to the mother. And the stats are clear. Even Barack Obama once cited them. If you're raised without a dad, you're 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail.
Right off the back, the number one problem with Black America is the breakdown of the Black family. And 75% of Black folks are born in this country to fatherless homes. It doesn't mean they don't have fathers, they're just not in the home. And he broke down 25% of white folks are born. Let me tell you something. In 1960, when was the Moynihan report released? In 63, 64? In 1963 or 64, right around the time the Patrick Moynihan report was released, Black out of wedlock birth rate was about 30%. And that report was sounding the alarm on Black folk. So white folks are where Black folks were back in 1962, 63, when the Patrick Moynihan report was released. So we were only 30% of kids born out of wedlock in the 60s, and we're now almost 100%. This is insane. But let's see how they respond to these empirical facts. These are not something he's making up and pulling out of his ass. None of that's happening.
What's happened? In the mid-'60s, with I think the best of intentions, a Democrat named Lyndon Johnson launched what he called the War on Poverty. And since then, we have incentivized women to marry the government and incentivized men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility. You know, when I say this to people, the pushback I get is, well, there are lots of things that are going on, systemic racism, poverty. Here's the problem. If you look at a young black male aged 10 to 43, that's young to me because I'm 71 years old. A young black man in that demo is 13 times more likely.
I want you guys to keep that in your back of your ear right now. He said he's 71 years old as we move forward. Keep that in the back of your mind.
To be murdered than a young white man, same demo. Young black man, real young, 19 and under, the number one cause of preventable death is homicide, almost always at the hands of another young black male. Same demo for whites, the number one cause of preventable death is unintentional deaths. That includes drug overdoses, automobile accidents, drownings. It's not until they get to number 4 that death is the cause. In America, 60% of the shootings, the robberies, and the homicides are committed by black people, often against other black people. Of the homicides in this country, half of them are black victims, almost all killed by other blacks. How do you explain that if it isn't for the absence of fathers?
All right, right now, take a look at Larry Elder's demeanor, how he's presenting the information, and how respectful he's being to the platform. And all he's doing is he did not list one single opinion. He listed empirical, data-driven facts about black folk. Not a single opinion in the last 2 minutes. Nothing about what he believes in the last 2 minutes. So there shouldn't be a problem.
Prepared to say black people are just genetically inclined to commit more crime? I doubt it. And the go-to reaction often is poverty and systemic racism. Here's the problem. 1940, when there was blatant racism, this is before Brown versus Board of Education, before the Civil Rights Act of 64, KKK was still alive and well, 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. Now it's about 14%. You can't blame it on poverty. You can't blame it on racism. It is the breakdown of the nuclear intact family, and neither side is talking about it. The left doesn't.
That's new to me. Did he just say, somebody correct me, did he just say only 14% of blacks right now are living in poverty? What's the math on that? Am I math? So let me do the math. So we go 100, because I'm pulling out the calculator. 100 minus 14. That's 86% of blacks are not living in poverty. Huh. I'll be damned.
Talk about it because they caused it with the welfare state, and our side does not talk about it because if you're white, you'll be accused of dissing single moms who are heroically raising these kids, or you'll be accused of being a racist, or if you're black, you'll be accused, as I was by the LA Times, of being the black face of white supremacy. Nobody's talking about that. I am.
What are the reasons, if your statistics are right, what are the reasons that you think fathers aren't in the home?
As I said, it's because in the mid-'60s, Lyndon Johnson launched what he called the War on Poverty. In Charlemagne, literally, they sent social workers door to door in the inner city. I remember this. Advising women of the availability of welfare provided there was no man in the house. It created an economic incentive for women to marry the government. Same thing with whites. In 1965, 8% of whites entered the world without a father in the home married to the mother. Now it's about 25%, also up 3.
Here's something that we all missed. He's 71, and he said, I remembered this, meaning he was around to witness it. So he doesn't need the history books to tell him anything. He was there when it happened. 71.
Fold. Look at census data, 1910, 1920, 1930, in places like Milwaukee, Chicago, Philadelphia, a young black kid was slightly more likely to be brought into a world with a father in the home married to the mother than a young white kid. We have incentivized this kind of bad behavior, and it's had a disproportionately bad effect on the black community.
Let me ask you a question. What do white people do wrong, Larry Elder?
What do you mean?
Now, he just went through all of these issues and problems from a data-driven, fact-based perspective. And Charlemagne's first reaction to this, what about white people? What the hell does white people got to do with the fact that we're out here killing one another? What the hell does white people got to do with the fact that that 75% of our women are single mothers? What does it got to do with the fact that 80% of black kids are born out of wedlock? What the hell does that got to do with white folks?
Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the
All right, shout out to my sexy is strong, who was the one who informed me that I hit the 5K yesterday. Thank you, my sexy is strong. Oh, she got the $5. Thank you, my sexy is strong. I appreciate you for coming by and being a continued support. Yeah, we're doing a little bit something different than the relationship stuff today. I mean, it's kind of still is, but we're getting to it. Charlemagne's one of his first reactions to what Larry Elder said was, what about the white people? What do white people do wrong? A whole lot of shit. But what I got to do with what we're talking about today?
White people do. I'm not worried about white people. I'm worried about what's going on with us.
But if there's systemic racism in this country, which we know it is.
No, I don't say there is. You say there is. I don't believe that.
Oh, you don't believe there's
No,
systemic
there used
racism?
to be, obviously. Tell me what you think the number one systemic example of systemic racism is in America.
Oh man, there's so many.
Just give me the most important one you think.
At the top of mind, I probably maybe say mass incarceration.
Mass incarceration. Mass incarceration of black men. Do you know that was debunked 10 years ago? Especially this whole narrative, there are more black men in prison than they are in college. That's another lie. If 86% of black folk are out of poverty, or if 56% of black men are single, childless, and earn enough money to be in the middle class, if 56% of black men are earning enough money to be considered middle class, how the hell are they in prison? How the hell are the majority of the black men in prison if the majority of them are actually out in the workforce? Get out of here.
Maybe.
Really? During the Great Depression, when 50% of black adults were unemployed, you didn't have this kind of mass incarceration. It's the breakdown of the family. There's
I'm not going to. I agree with the family part. I'm a black man who is a father to his children, and I'm a happily married black man to a black woman. So I'm never going to argue with that part, But I just feel like everything is black with you. Black is wrong. Black people do this and black people do that.
He did not say that everything is all black people fault. This is a grown man sitting up in here reacting to the statistics, the data, the information, the empirical. Now, one thing has Larry Elder said that was all about his feelings. Wasn't an opinion. And Charlemagne sitting there talking about, well, all and every, which is what you hear people who don't like accountability say. It's a way to try to discredit what you're trying to say. When you start going to all or none, you're saying all black people's fault. That's not what the hell Larry Elder said. He didn't even come close to formulating any kind of sentence structure that would represent that. But Charlemagne's punk ass sit up there trying. This fucking book. He's sitting up here trying, and I'm telling you, it pisses me off when I gotta defend somebody that I actually don't agree with. He's sitting there trying to gaslight Larry Elder, and Charlemagne is being disingenuous with that statement. He's being disrespectful in his tone to a man who's actually his elder. And I'm not saying that you can't have a disagreement with, you can't be 40-something years old and have a disagreement with a 70-something-year-old man. But come on, Charlemagne. Larry Elder jumped through hoops that you will never have to jump through. He's had an experience in this country that you will never have to experience. He's had an experience that you can only read about. And you're sitting your little punk ass up here trying to gaslight him, which is a very, very, I almost feel bad about calling it a feminine thing to do. Because I know so many women who wouldn't have fucking did what you just tried to do.
People do wrong. You said you're not worried about white people at all.
I'm talking about the damage, disproportionate damage going on in the black community. For example, look at these smash and grabs that are taking place in Los Angeles where I live. There's a suburb called Glendale where at a mall recently, a mob of 30 to 40 people, they had masks on, but one guy got popped. He was a black, and I think most of those who were doing this were black. And in recent years and times, there have been a number of these in places like Chicago, places like New York. If I were involved in something like that, Charlemagne, I grew up with a dad, just as you're raising your own children. I would have been more afraid of my father than I would about the cops catching me. These kids are afraid of neither. They don't have a father in the home. Cops are demoralized.
He's absolutely right. These young men, they're not afraid of their mothers. They're not afraid of their mothers because these young men, by the time they're 5 and 6 years old, are running their mother's houses. Who remember that Messy Michon did a live stream, a reaction to this 6 or 7 year old boy that was on Kendra G's channel talking about he protects his mama coochie. He's the protector of his mother's coochie. A man got to go through him before he get to that. 7 and 8 years old, we got our boys out here talking to their mamas and about their mamas like that. These young men out here ain't afraid of nothing because ain't nothing in their homes to be afraid of. And then because they've been raised until they got to be teenagers that they don't have to fear anything, that there's no consequence when they interact with the general public or law enforcement. They have no governor on them.
They're pulling back. Their manpower is short. And as a result, you tell a bad guy you're less likely to be caught, convicted, incarcerated, crime goes up. They may be criminals, but they're not stupid. Mm-hmm. When you say, what do white people do? I mean, this is a country that has struggled mightily to get over its historic racism. There was a civil war. There was a big civil rights movement. This is the only majority white country that's ever elected a black president, let alone reelected a black president. The 3 biggest cities in America are New York, Chicago, LA. They all have black mayors, even though no city has a majority of black population. The president of Harvard is a black female. Martin Luther King in 1966, Charlemagne, gave an interview to the BBC. This is 2 years after the Civil Rights Act of 64 got passed. And he said, I'm amazed at how many positive changes there have been in America in the last 2 years. Why, if things keep going like this, we could have a black president in about 40 years' time. Mm-hmm. Do the math. Right on cue, Barack Obama, elected 2008. He didn't say there'll be a black female president of Harvard, and there has been. He didn't say there are going to be black CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, and there have been several. He didn't say the percentage of the House would equal the percentage of black people in the population, and it does. He didn't say the 3 largest cities would have black mayors, and they do. He didn't say the largest and most prestigious organization of doctors, the American Medical Association, would have 2 black presidents, and there have been. He didn't say the most prestigious organization of lawyers, the American Bar Association, would have 2 black presidents, and they have. He said president, meaning at that point, I can feel that I've reached the mountaintop, which is the speech he gave right before he got assassinated the day before. And now we act as if Barack Obama never even got elected. And we're still talking about systemic racism. It's not fair. It's wrong. And you're discouraging black people from working hard. 1996.
Absolutely. Mr. Elder, a quick question. Let's just remove the word racism, since that seems to be a word that triggers, a conversation.
This woman, see, this is why I said go back and watch Michon's breakdown of this. Lord, I'm stuttering. Of the Breakfast Club. This woman came in hot. Let's remove the word racism since it's triggering you. The first 5 minutes when I went live, Obsidian talked about the sassy black woman. As if that's not a true statement for us. Hezekiah, what do you think? Hezekiah, what do you are you there? Can you hear?
It's like every time I hear you. Can you hear me?
Keep talking. All right, the brother's struggling. So
it seems like every time
let's just focus on the word
decide
system.
to have an issue
You
and talk about
the system.
Talking about us as human beings and
yeah, he not working out.
Was the one that discouraged. And again, we have no problem with agreeing that the family, the black family, should certainly has some room for some improvement. But let's just focus on system.
Room for improvement?
System. Well, we're not going to go down that water. We're not going to go down that water hole. Let's get to the question. So the question is, you said that the system encouraged black women to be single mothers, correct?
I said the welfare state, yes.
The welfare, the system. So who's in charge of the system? Who was in charge of the system?
Well, it was Democrats that passed it.
And who were Democrats? Were they black or white at that time?
Well, at the time, majority of black people were Democrats, as the majority of black people are Democrats now.
Not the voters. I'm talking about the system. Remember, the main idea is the word system. Who was in charge of the system at the time? The Democrats at the time. The system.
She's doing her level best to play gotcha. With an attitude, with a whole effing attitude, trying to play gotcha. He was very clear as to what he was very clear as to where he thought the start of the breakdown was at. Very clear. He did not mince words. He did not stutter like I do all the damn time. He didn't do none of that. He didn't do none of that. But she refused to accept his answer with an attitude. Shout out to this brother, boy, because it couldn't have, I probably have been already up in there cussing everybody out. I mean, I'm just not built that way, and I need to get better at it. But, you know, my philosophy in life is, you know, I'm going to get you the way you come at me.
I'm just going to Charlamagne's point about white or black. Was it white Democrats in charge of the system or black Democrats in charge of the system?
Well, if you're prepared to say that Lyndon Johnson did this viciously with an intent to destroy the black family, I disagree. He did it with the best of intentions. And if you look at the New York Times, which is left wing, the Washington Post, which is left wing,
now this is where me and Larry part ways on that. I don't think it was like, yeah, I do. I think there was a divide and conquer. But just because there was a divide and conquer plan, that doesn't mean that we had to accept it. We always accept the fuckery. We fall for anything. Let me tell you guys something real quick. Let me put this up. And I don't mean to go all biblical on you right now, but let me tell you something. When you got a man who's 10 toes down, and from a biblical standpoint, you cannot remove him off his square. You can't come at him with the bull crap. You can't pull nothing over on him, and you cannot destroy. You might be able to knock him down, but you can't destroy. From a biblical standpoint, what was Job? 10 toes down. To a degree, what was Solomon? 10 toes down. Lot, 10 toes down. To a degree, Adam initially, 10 toes down. Every time the devil wants to try to destroy, if he can't destroy that man directly, he goes through his woman. Because our women, especially when they're uncovered, tend to fall for the fuckery. That's how Eve was manipulated. And how did you destroy a man? Usually through his woman. That's where most of our weakness lie. Adam was disobedient through his woman. Solomon lost his power because of his woman. Lot, his woman disobeyed. She turned to salt. That dude kept going. Job, his wife told him, why don't you go cuss God, because what kind of God gonna do this to you? And Job told her, you can go about your business. So the government, through slavery, through Reconstruction, through the Civil Rights, through Jim Crow, they tried to destroy the man. And they couldn't. So where did they come? They went for the women. And guess who lined up lock, stock, and barrel for the fuckery?
Heard all of this.
Right. And what I'm asking, was it white people? So I'm going to ask again in case my mic's not coming through clearly. Was it white people in charge of the system or black people in charge of that?
Was it white people? Was it white people?
System that helped break down the black family? It's a simple yes, just a simple question. White or black?
Well, you didn't have to go on welfare unless you voluntarily chose to go on welfare. The inducement was put there by Democrats, by the left.
Correct. Okay. Democrats,
most black people were Democrats, and they voted for these white people.
Not
too.
Voters. I said who's in charge of the system.
She's trying her best to do an end around and a gotcha on Larry Elder. Larry Elder is correct. Our families did not have to go on the system. It was a choice. I've said over and over and over again, you might not like the choices in front of you, but you still got a choice. Yes, there were white Democrats, blah, blah, blah. But guess who we vote for? In droves.
Well, who puts them in charge?
Was Lyndon Johnson white or black?
Who put them in charge?
Maybe that'll help you.
Fine. Lyndon Johnson was white.
Thank you.
Okay. But if your argument is that the reason he did it is because of racism, then I disagree. He did it because of
That's not my argument. I just asked you a simple question. Was he white or black? Charlamagne?
And Mr. Elder, you said you talked about
that was her calling him a bitch. Believe it or not. Just cutting him off, dismissing him. 71 years old, lived twice her life, have walked a path that she could never understand and will never have to walk, and being that damn dismissive and talking to him like she's out there, she's essentially out there trying to little boy him. She's out there trying to little boy him. Get the hell out of here.
The smash and grabs, right? And I find that interesting because, when you see the mass shootings that happen, majority of those people are white males. What do you think about that?
Actually, if you look at the percentage of whites in America, which is 60%, the percentage of mass shooters is under that. The percentage of people that commit hate crime is under that. The percentage of people who are serial killers is under that. Black people are 13% of the population. We commit a greater percentage compared to that
of mass shootings. You specifically talked about the smash and grabs, though. So I was saying, since you're using that as an example, I'm saying, well, what about the mass shooters that are usually white males?
One more time. They are usually white males because
what the hell does the mass shooters got to do with the cost of TNT in China when it comes to the state of the black community? Or I even hate saying the word black because there isn't one. Black folk. What the hell has that got to do with the cost of tea in China, Charlamagne? Talking about goalposts moving? Why didn't Charlamagne give himself donkey of the day for this shit?
50% of the country is white. However, they underrepresent in terms of the number of mass shootings. About 50% or so of the mass shootings in this country are committed by white people, even though white people are 60% of the population. They underrepresent. We overrepresent when it comes to hate crime, when it comes to mass shootings, when it comes to serial killings, when it comes to robberies, when it comes to virtually every category of violent crime. We overrepresent.
So what do white people do wrong? I'm gonna keep asking you that because I want.
Well,
like,
it seems to me rather than deal with what's going on, the pathology that's going on in the inner city, you want me to talk about how bad white people are,
No,
which I don't think is a particularly productive thing to do.
Well, I think
it's not a productive thing to do because we got so many issues. We got so many issues. White folk not sitting out here with a 75% single mother rate. They're not sitting out here with that. They're not sitting out here with 80% of the kids being born out of wedlock. They're not sitting out here with the average black woman that has 4 kids and 3 baby daddies. They're not sitting out here with this crap. They're not sitting out here with their sons walking, their teenage boys at night, walking up and down downtown, every downtown major city, shooting it up when they're supposed to be in the house at 1 o'clock in the morning with assault rifles. They don't have that problem. Mass shootings. If you actually want to talk about when you want to identify mass shootings, get the hell out of here. Yeah, Timmy gets pissed off and go shoot up a school. And we hear about that, once every 7 years? Little dumpster fire, little Pookie Jr., we hear about him every 7 minutes.
I think there's a cause and effect, but if we can't talk about the cause, which I believe is systemic racism and white supremacy, the FBI says.
Well, I just told you, if it's systemic racism, please explain to me how it was when America really had systemic racism in 1940. 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. Again, this is during Jim Crow era. My father is from Athens, Georgia, grew up in Jim Crow. My mom is from Huntsville, Alabama, grew up in Jim Crow. 87% of blacks live below the poverty line. This is before Brown versus Board of Education. You did not find these kind of black on black crime.
Probably because we had no
choice. But they still were living
ourselves.
below the poverty line, though, sir.
I'm sorry?
You're forgetting the fact that they were still living below the poverty line. You're picking and choosing.
You're making his point. Oh, I'm screaming. You're making his point, lady, that they were below the poverty line with a tune of 40% back then, and we did not have the damn issues that we have today, and especially with 86% of us living above the poverty line, but yet we got all of this garbage going on out here. You're making his point all while you're trying to little boy him. I'm going out of my way to not do what Michon did, which is call her a bitch. I didn't call her a bitch, but I'm just saying. Oh, funky bitch.
Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the
Shout out to Harmonize with another $5. Lady, I'm exhausted. That's what about white people was going to get him be emotional. He failed miserably, and we went down the hill from there. What about white people? Oh, so Harmonize, thank you for the $5. Just saw something come across my screen. That's why I just had to put that up on the screen from Messy Michon. Thank you, Harmonize, for the $5 super chat. Thank you for the support. I appreciate that. Anybody that supports in this here, thank you. I appreciate it. This is frustrating. They're going up instead of listening to what this man has to say. There's nothing that this man has said that has been wrong. They're literally fighting him because he's saying, we have a problem. The biggest breakdown, the biggest issues with blacks in this country is the breakdown of the nuclear family. They're literally attacking him for saying that. You got a man attacking him. You got I wonder. Michon, she's starting to smell a little bit like something to me. I feel a warning coming on. I smell Thougtzilla written all over this woman.
Saying this was good, but this was bad.
Okay.
The bottom line, they end between the poverty line. But let's move forward.
Well,
on
can I just address that? In 1940, 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. 1960, that number had fallen to 47%. That's a 40-point drop in 20 years. That's the greatest 20-year period of economic expansion for black people in the history of America. Again, well before Brown versus Board of Education, well before the KKK imploded, well before we had race-based preferences. Why? Because it was rare for a black kid to be raised in a family without a father in the home. A strong belief in Judeo-Christian values, a belief in patriotism, even as America wasn't applying these values to black people, obviously.
It was rare. It was more likely during that time for a white kid to be raised in a home without a father than a black person, than a black kid. Now it's rare to have a black father in the house, and let's keep it a buck. Even then, a lot of these fathers don't even got a freaking say in their own damn house, because everybody's so worried about offending Queen Mother.
And a belief in entrepreneurship. All those things are now under assault by organizations like Black Lives Matter. Charlemagne, Black Lives Matter had on their...
Black Lives Matter turned out to be the biggest grift of the 21st century. We had a collection of African or foreign gay women come in and co-opt the tragedies of all of these young boys being gunned down. The biggest grift ever.
Website, an attack on the nuclear family. The founders are self-described Marxists, trained Marxists. Marx wanted to dethrone God, was an atheist, and Marx did not believe in capitalism, let alone entrepreneurship. All the things that made black people still survive in virulent racism are now under attack by organizations like Black Lives Matter.
But all of those things have always been under attack by white supremacy. You can go back to things like whether it's the Tulsa race massacres, like every time black people do create these systems that are our systems and we are the entrepreneurs, it seems like white supremacy finds...
All I keep hearing is, but. Like everything coming out of his mouth is smelling like butt. Everything coming out of these people's mouth is just nothing but straight ass. Straight ass.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Shout out to the big homie, Mr. Team Peterson, for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. For the message you bring, is needed. Fuck the tone. Absolutely. I was in Atlanta the last couple of days, and I was helping my buddy. Unfortunately, his sister passed away really young back in December, so they were settling her estate and doing an estate sale. And my buddy's wife wanted to talk to me about my tone because how I was talking to somebody. And I told her, I said, Fee, love you to death. You're my buddy's, sister, wife, but you can't regulate my talk. You go do that with your husband. See, there you go. You got you're damn right. There I go.
Every time, look, the Tulsa massacre, within about 5 years, that whole area was rebuilt. It was not even called the Black Wall Street until after it was rebuilt. And it was rebuilt, by the way, by black people without one dime of government money.
Yeah, but who destroyed it to begin with?
It was right.
That can happen today because black folks collectively, we have more money than the country of Russia.
racists who
if black folks were their own nation right now in this country, we would be like the fifth or sixth largest, have the 56th largest economy in the world. But we care for more about Jordan, lashes, weaves, and whatever other dumpster fire bullshit we like to buy.
Destroyed it. No question about it. We've had race riots, but so have Japanese.
So you do agree that there's racism? I'm just so confused.
I never even came close to saying. I never came close to saying there was no racism.
You just saying you don't think it's systemic racism?
Not any.
They're putting words in his mouth because they're not even. This whole entire interview is just an exercise in dishonesty from them. They came in with the express intent of trying to undermine, marginalize, and discredit Larry Elder. And I'm telling you, I followed Larry Elder for almost 20 years of my life. But he's not wrong here. But because we feel a certain way, we're gonna vote not, and we make fun of white people like, how do you vote for not your own best interest? And we're the kings and queens of that bullshit.
More obviously, we had something called slavery. We had something called Jim Crow.
That destroyed black. Hold on, sir. That was system that destroyed. That was the system that destroyed Black Wall Street. It's the same system right now that's not even wanting to pay those same living descendants. Because I know your position on reparations, but those same living descendants of Black Wall Street.
Okay.
And then you move, and then you go on to say that the system, the quote unquote system, is also trying to destroy President Trump. So I'm just so confused on: do you believe that?
All I hear is this.
Emotional damage. Emotional damage.
That's all I hear when she talks now. That's all I hear.
The system can destroy or not. You pick and choose, sir, and that's what's so confusing to me. You just said it wasn't racism. Now it is racism. When it was time to build it back, there was no racism.
I said it wasn't systemic racism. Let's talk about.
So what are you just hung up on the word system?
Can I just make this point, Charlamagne, please? Let's take.
It's a shame. Basically, Larry Elder just told Charlamagne, "Hey, bruh, can you get your people in check? Can you get your people? This is supposed to be a conversation of the dialogue. Can you get your people?" Let me see if I don't know if I can look at the look on her face. Look at her face. And Black women always want to sit around and talk about that we're being stereotypical about them and their attitudes and their behaviors, and that they're mean, and that they're argumentative, and that they're just difficult to get along with. No one's saying sisters can't speak their opinion, express themselves, but with this kind of vitriol, that's what we want to celebrate and rock with.
Chinese Americans. Chinese Americans were the first ethnic group to be excluded with an Immigration Act in the late 1800s. They had riots against Chinese in L.A., in San Francisco. There were laws that prevented Chinese Americans from participating in the laundry business. I'm in California. California, of course, rounded up Japanese Americans during World War II. There were laws that prevented Japanese Americans from owning farmland. The average Japanese American household has a higher per capita income than the average white household. The average Chinese American household has a higher per capita income than the average white household. How does that happen? It happens because of a strong belief in family. It is rare for a Chinese American or a Japanese American kid to have a child outside of wedlock, and a strong belief in education and a strong belief in entrepreneurship. These are the kinds of qualities that make people successful.
You can't blame everything on having a fatherless family, right? Because
I didn't say blaming.
This motherfucker right here. This motherfucker right here. We can't blame everything on fatherless families. This motherfucker right here. That was 15 minutes. And DJ Envy, sorry, punk ass, weak ass. And we know how weak DJ Envy is, especially when it comes to his woman. We ain't gonna go there because he's been dragged a lot about how fucking weak he is as a man with his woman. We gonna blame everything. He sounds like a fucking woman. He sounds like a woman talking like that. Fatherless homes. Single mother, we're living the consequences of that. They're sitting around having this talking and trying to little boy. You got the woman trying to little boy him, and you got Charlemagne and DJ Envy sitting around here trying to play gotcha and then doing the all or nothing game. If I don't, this whole exercise right now is just an example of what Kevin used to talk about, the sign language, the shaming incels, guilt, and the need to be right, and they're dead ass wrong. The coffee break is over. We got to pick this up tomorrow. We're not done with this shit, man. We operate not in our best interest. And then we got somebody coming up here saying the primary, this is not an argument anymore. This is not even a debate. We all know the problem with the Black lexicon in America is the breakdown of the nuclear family. We all know that. That is nothing new. But these ass clowns want to sit up in here and pretend like Larry Elder is the damn enemy by saying it because he's a Republican. They worried about what set you from. What set you from? What set you from?
King. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king and I will never knew. Plotting for my fall, you getting hanged for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can, yo. Can't even get lost, I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold, I don't do no host, I've got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, I told you guys before, ready for the war, to get me way much more. Gather all these spoils, add them to my kingdom. Shout out to my fans for pledging your allegiance. You get a reward, the best flow you've ever heard. I don't be mixing with birds, I'm a lion on the surge. Always pushing to the edge, facing arrows, never scared. For my greatness I'ma serve, and only under myself I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play it, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten.